this is one person's opinion. That kind of stupid takes a plan. And I say that because, number one, this is America. That had never happened before in America. That's the sort of thing that happens in a country whose Powerball jackpot is 287 chickens and a goat. It doesn't happen here. And I call it stupid because it broke the seal. It broke the seal. It normalized it. There are a lot of ambitious prosecutors in America, Democrat and Republican. And I'll bet you right now there's some prosecutor in a particular state thinking about, well, maybe I ought to file criminal charges against President Biden's inner circle for conspiring to conceal his mental decline. And that's the road we're headed down. And you've got to fix it, Counselor. You've got to fix it. And here's, in my judgment, what I would ask you to do. Find out who the bad guys are and the bad women and get rid of them. Find out who the good people are and lift them up. But do it on the basis of facts and evidence and fairness.
Hey, Patriots. Welcome back to Right View Nation, where we speak the truth loud and clear, without fear, without apology. If you love America, freedom, and the Constitution, you're in the right place. Smash that like button, subscribe, and let's dive into it.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Ms. Bondi, welcome. Congratulations. Can we agree that legitimacy is important to America's criminal justice system?
Yes, Senator.
Can we agree that legitimacy is important to the Department of Justice, which in part administers our criminal justice system?
Yes, Senator.
And if Americans come to believe that our criminal justice system or our Department of Justice is acting illegitimately, that makes Americans less likely to accept the results of that system, does it not?
Yes, Senator.
And that makes Americans less likely to follow the substantive laws that we pass that are administered by the Department of Justice. Isn't that true?
Yes, Senator.
And if that happens, we have chaos, don't we?
Chaos.
And the social contract is breached, isn't it?
Yes.
Do you remember a person by the name of Michael Avenatti?
Yes.
Several years ago, he was a media star here in Washington.
An attorney, correct?
Yes. He was a media star. And many members of our media loved him because he persistently bashed Donald Trump. And he was on TV every day. He was on CNN more than Wolf Blitzer. Do you know where Mr. Avenatti is today?
I believe he's sitting in prison, Senator.
He's in jail because he was a crook. And the Department of Justice helped put him there, didn't it?
Yes, Senator.
Do you remember a gentleman by the name of Sam Bankman-Fried?
Yes, Senator.
Boy genius. So smart and so powerful that he thought he could command the tides. so smart and so powerful and so rich that he would go to meetings with serious people like Bill Clinton, like Tony Blair, looking like a slob, looking like a fourth runner-up to a John Belushi lookalike contest. And he thought it was cute. Where's Mr. Bankman-Fried today?
I believe he is in prison, and I believe that's from the Netflix series I saw as well.
Because he's a crook. And who helped put him there?
The Department of Justice, Senator.
Can we agree that there's some really, really good men and women at the Department of Justice?
Many, many great men and women in the Justice Department, as well, Senator, as all the law enforcement agencies that fall within the Department of Justice. They're out there risking their lives, especially the law enforcement officers, every single day.
Can we agree, though, that there have been and may be today some bad people at the Department of Justice?
Yes, Senator.
We don't know for sure because for the last 4 years, the curtains there have been tightly drawn. But I think a minority of people there, have delegitimized America's criminal justice system. The most destabilizing act that I saw in the past 4 years, maybe in the history of the department, is when Attorney General Garland decided on the basis of dubious facts and untested legal theories to criminally prosecute a former president of the United States. And not only that, this is the special part. He decided to do it after the former president of the United States had announced that he was going to run against Attorney General Garland's boss, didn't he?
Senator, are you referring to going after a political opponent?
I think so. Now, this is one person's opinion. That kind of stupid takes a plan. And I say that because, number one, this is America. That had never happened before in America. That's the sort of thing that happens in a country whose Powerball jackpot is 287 chickens and a goat. It doesn't happen here. And I call it stupid because it broke the seal. It broke the seal. It normalized it. There are a lot of ambitious prosecutors in America, Democrat and Republican. And I'll bet you right now there's some prosecutor in a particular state thinking about, well, maybe I ought to file criminal charges against President Biden's inner circle for conspiring to conceal his mental decline. And that's the road we're headed down. And you've got to fix it, Counselor. You've got to fix it. And here's, in my judgment, what I would ask you to do. Find out who the bad guys are and the bad women and get rid of them. Find out who the good people are and lift them up. But do it on the basis of facts and evidence and fairness. Because the temptation of some people is going to be, they're going to tell you, look, two wrongs don't make a right, but they do make it even. Don't resist that temptation. Help us restore legitimacy to the Department of Justice.
Thank you, Senator.
Today, I want to talk about a moment that honestly should be played in every civics classroom across America. Senator John Kennedy, one of the few fighters left in Washington, absolutely sounded the alarm about what's happening to our Justice Department. And folks, it's worse than we thought. Kennedy laid it out perfectly. Legitimacy is everything to a justice system. When the American people start believing that the DOJ is just another political weapon for the left, guess what happens? You get lawlessness. You get chaos. You get a government no better than some third-world dictatorship. And let me tell you, under Merrick Garland's so-called leadership, that's exactly the road we're on. And Kennedy didn't just make vague accusations. No, he named names. Remember Michael Avenatti? The left's golden boy. CNN couldn't get enough of that guy when he was trashing Trump. Where is he now? Sitting in a prison cell, right where he belongs. And Sam Bankman-Fried, another leftist darling, rubbing elbows with Bill Clinton and Tony Blair, thinking he was untouchable. Where's he now? You guessed it, locked up. You see, friends, the DOJ is more than capable of taking down real criminals when it suits them. But what Kennedy points out, and what every freedom-loving American needs to understand, is that some bad actors inside the DOJ have turned that incredible power against their political enemies. They broke the ultimate American rule. You don't criminally prosecute your political opposition. You don't use the scales of justice as a battering ram against people you disagree with. That's what banana republics do. That's what tyrants do. And what makes it even worse? Garland decided to go after President Trump. Not when the facts were clear, not when it was about justice, but after Trump announced he was running against Biden. Think about that. Biden's DOJ decided, hey, let's try to throw our biggest political opponent in jail. That's not America. That's corruption. Plain and simple. Asterisk, asterisk. And as Kennedy warned, this stupid, reckless move, has now broken the seal. Now every DA and prosecutor with political ambitions, left or right, might start thinking, hey, maybe I should indict my political opponents too. That's the path to total collapse. We can't have a justice system that looks like a political circus. We need fairness, we need rule of law, and most importantly, we need trust. Senator Kennedy gave some wise advice to Pam Bondi, and honestly, to all of us. We need to weed out the bad actors, the ones who think the DOJ is their personal weapon. We need to lift up the good men and women who risk their lives every day defending true justice. Because, Patriots, if we lose the DOJ, if we lose the trust of the American people in our justice system, we don't just lose the next election. We lose the country. And that's something we're not going to let happen, not on our watch. If you agree with Senator Kennedy, if you believe it's time to take our Justice Department back from the political hacks, hit that like button, subscribe to Right View Nation, and share this video. Together, we're going to keep fighting for faith, family, freedom, and the future of this great nation. God bless you, God bless President Trump, and God bless the United States of America.